Good evening, everybody. Today we'll be playing Tron again. Now, I was looking at this list and I was trying to decide if there was any adjustments that I wanted to make. And I've still come to the conclusion that I think I'm fine the way that I am set up right now. I've had some suggestions like, oh, Kozilek, it's kind of a meme to have in the sideboard. You're not going to play against Mill. Take it out of the sideboard. And that's definitely correct. There's no debating about that, right? I have no idea what to replace it with, because I'm looking at my sideboard and I'm like, I don't want a third one of any of these effects, and a second spatial contortion might be the way to go. That also doesn't feel right to me, if that makes sense. So we're going to run this through another constructed league. Oops, not white-red. That's what we just played. Okay, I'll see you guys in round one. Alright, round one, here we go. Be on the play. Oof. 3 stars and an Ancient Stirrings? Well, 2 stars in a sphere, but you know what I mean. Yeah, I'm gonna mulligan. That's really tempting, but same sort of crap here. Nah, I gotta go to 5. Oh, crap. I should have kept the first hand. We're going to 4. Alright, let's do this. Put back all this stuff. We're gonna start by high rolling. Urza's Tower, Expedition Map, let's go. Top deck the other Tron lands, please. Alright, my opponent is a deck that plays Misty Rainforest. Overgrown Tomb, interesting. Could be Sultai. It's Infect. A bad matchup on the best of days. Play one of our star effects, pass the turn. Considering my opponent kept a hand of 7, we are very likely dead. I really expect Might of Old Kroza, Groundswell, Mutagenic Growth, we're dead. Oh, Noble Hierarch. We are not immediately dead. Opponent kept a Noble Hierarch hand. So we untap. We've missed a land drop, though. Okay, land, please. Land, please. You're kidding me. 7 cards deep and no extra lands. Yeah, we'll take Karn, I guess. This game's over. To be fair, while keeping the initial hand would have been the best of the hands that we've mulliganed to, keeping that initial hand also would have died. There's no way. Like, no way that hand got anywhere either. Okay, opponent takes us to 6 Infect. Wrapup decays our map. Okay. Alright. So, definitely want Wilt and Spatial Contortion. Wilt can actually take out Inkmoth. I'm going to put the other Walking Ballista in the main deck as well. Thragtusk is completely worthless here. Wormcoil can come out. I'm going to take out 1 Ulamog and 1 O-Stone, because O-Stone actually can't hit Inkmoth Nexus. We're going to set up like this. This is bad luck for the first match there. We'll play first. This hand could technically work, but we have no real way to interact with our opponent. Blast Zone might get somewhere, but yeah, I think we got a mulligan and hopefully get a better hand. Alright, this one works. Potentially this is a turn 3 Karn. So we're going to keep, put O-Stone back, start Power Plant Sphere, pass the turn, and if we draw Sylvan Scrying, or we draw an Ancient Stirrings and hit Mine, or if we draw Mine, then we have Karn on turn 3. Okay, put a plays a Glistener Elf, we untap. We draw an Expedition Map. Back for green, we get another Power Plant. Do we use up all of our green mana here? I don't think so. We're going to play Star, Tower, and Map. Pass the turn. I want to hold on to my green mana for Wilt, just in case my opponent plays a Damping Sphere or an Inkmoth Nexus. Alright, scale up probably means we're just dead. Scale up Might of Old Kroza. Yep, occasionally your opponent will have the turn too, with the Mutagenic Growth for the rub-ins. Hits us for 12. Alright, well, Karn Daddy, I am very upset by your name. I'll see you guys in round 2. And for those of you in the comments going, hey, what if you had a second Spatial Contortion over your Kozilek in the sideboard? We didn't, you could have brought that in too, over like another O-Stone. Versus the first hand, that would have been fine, but we didn't sideboard, and versus our opponent's second hand, we wouldn't have beaten that. Pretty sure. I'll play first. Sphere Stirrings and Scrying is nice, Problem is, we only have 1 green mana across like all of these turns. I think we got a mulligan. Alright. This is a pretty high upside hand. We do have 1 redraw and a lot of cards we can hit that would be really good. Not to mention we also have Blast Zone, which may actually help out depending on what we're against. Alright, this one I am going to keep. We'll put back a forest. And we'll start mine into Sphere. Pass the turn. This would appear to be Oops All Spells, which is another bad matchup, simply because it's a deck that can just act too fast for us to respond to. At least main deck. Let's see what we draw. Okay, we draw Worm Coil. We're gonna sack for green. Perfect. Sylvan Scrying, get Power Plant. Pass the turn. And I think our opponent has to kill us this turn, which they can do. And it looks like they're going to. Undercity Informer. Mills themselves. Revealing 51 cards. Yeah, that's 3 Creeping Chills and 4 Vengevines. 3 Narcomoebas. Well, they can get back all of the Sword of the Meeks as well. Okay. Alright, we're just dead. Okay. So, versus our opponent's deck, we want Wilt. We might want Weather the Storm. Maybe. Spatial Contortion if they have to go for a 2-turn. Using Undercity Informant is actually fine. Cut an Ulamog. Walking Ballista does nothing here. O-Stone's also not great. I'm going to cut Thragtusk and run a Weather the Storm. I also probably should be running Veil of Summer. Yeah, I'm actually going to cut 2 Worm Coils for 2 Veil of Summer. We're going to try it like this. We've gone really threat light here, and that might actually be a problem, but we'll see. Do you want to play first? Yes. Perfect. Keep. Start Power Plant map. This hand's perfect because we do have a redundant map. It also has 2 threats in case of a Thoughtseize. One of them is significantly worse than the other, but we still have a game if we get Thoughtseized. Okay. Opponent plays Agadine the Undercrypt. Draw Spatial Contortion, which I am going to leave up. The only way this is bad is if we get Krosan Gripped, which I don't think anyone actually ever runs. Penthead Prism on 2 colors. Okay. Getters is mine. Untap. Players is mine. Play Karn. Nuke the Penthead Prism to take out 2 of their mana and pass. Opponent plays a Talisman of Resilience and tap land. We untap. We draw another Karn. So that was probably the best possible top deck. Second Karn. Take out the black mana. Play map. Pass the turn. Opponent plays an Agadine the Undercrypt. We draw Wilt. So, Spatial Contortion. Gonna uptick on their hand this time. Attacking the mana might be correct there. They exile a Creeping Chill. We're gonna go get another tower. And I think it's more important to hold up Wilt or Weather the Storm than it is to play Worm Coil here. So we're gonna do that. Okay, opponent shocks Agadine the Undercrypt into a Charbelcher, which will immediately get wilted. Nice. Okay, do we want to make adjustments knowing that our opponent has Charbelchers and probably hand hate? I think we're fine. Problem is, now they're on the play. We kind of have to get a little bit lucky here and hope that our opponent does not have a good opener and has to mulligan. They do mulligan to 6 cards, and we have to as well. This hand is so bad without any green mana. I'm watching the game log here to see if my opponent mulligans any further. They keep 6, so I'm gonna mulligan as well. All right, this works. We'll put back Ulamog. I don't want to put away a land tutor, but I think I have to. I think Chromatic Sphere is going to be a lot better here. We have a no bomb payoff right now. Opponent starts tap land. Okay, that works. Play Sphere. So we can make it to turn 3. We can put them under a Grafdigger's Cage, which I think interrupts their combo. Okay, they play a Talisman. It also interrupts their artifact mana. We draw Sanctum of Ugin, so play Urza's Mine. Crack Sphere for green, Sylvan Scrying. Get a tower. Pass the turn. The only problem is now, if they have a way to mill themselves out and they still have all of that combo and they're not all in on Charbelcher or anything like that, we're in trouble. Okay. So, Karn is nice because it shuts off Charbelcher, as well as one of their mana. What I'm gonna do... Let me think. I don't think they have direct removal for Karn Great Creator. We could get Sorcerer's Spyglass to have a redundant way to turn off Charbelcher if we were really worried about it. But I think Grafdigger's Cage or Trinisphere is the way to go. Trinisphere would mean they would have to use up all of their mana to answer Karn and wouldn't be able to activate Charbelcher this turn, though we wouldn't have a good way to protect ourselves after that. I think I get Cage because I can play both Cage and Maze Mind Tome this turn. And we can scry. Try and adjust our upcoming draws. Put a power plant to the bottom, pass the turn. I'm not completely up on how my opponent beats this, because I haven't played that deck and I don't know the ins and outs of it very well. Okay, our opponent casts a Sword of the Meek. And then they cast a Salvage Titan. Alright. Scry on our upkeep. Map. Map to the bottom. We draw Forest. So we need to protect Karn. I think Wormcoil is just enough. We can play a Forest. Play Wormcoil. Sylvan Scrying. We'll pick up a tower. That way we can cast anything that we could possibly draw. And the game's over. Sweet. So our opponent stumbled a little bit in game 3. I wonder if they side into the Charbelcher plan because they're worried about Grave Hate. When in reality, versus our specific list, the Grave plan is a lot harder to interact with than their Charbelcher because we have Karn, which is a 4-mana Null Rod. Alright, well, round 3. Enough pondering on that. We will be on the draw for game 1 of round 3 with a mulligan. Okay, down to 6. Oof. Down to 5. Opponent keeps a 6-land hand. We're going to keep... They are playing Lurrus. I'm going to put back a Forest and a Ballista, because Ballista doesn't kill a lot of things in Death Shadow, which is what I'm presuming this is. Okay, opponent starts Fetch, Shock, Blood Crypt, and Thoughtseize. Probably takes Stirrings. Yep. We draw a tower, because we're really good at playing Tron. And we play a Chromatic Star. Opponent plays a Nurturing Peatland into a Tarmogoyf. Okay, it looks like Jund Death Shadow. We look at the top card of our deck. Sack Star for green. Draw an Ugin. Play a tower. Pass the turn. Come on, Power Plant. Off the top. One time. Opponent plays a Renin 6. Picks up a Bloodstained Mire. Plays it. Cracks it. Gets a Blood Crypt untapped. And Thoughtseizes again. This time probably taking Karn Liberated. They could take Wormcoil if they're holding a Bolt, because we have to down-tick Karn. Alright. They take Wormcoil. So my opponent likely is holding a Lightning Bolt. Well, we have to Ancient Stirrings. We could... Oof. We could take Sphere or Star if we want to try and draw the land this turn, but we played a land, so I'm not going to do that. I'm going to take Maze Mind Tome. This gives us the most looks at getting a power plant. Go ahead and scry right now. Karn Liberated to the bottom. Okay, opponent untaps. Sacks Nurturing Peatland to draw a card. If we can draw a power plant, if there's a power plant in the top 2 cards of our deck, we can play Ugin and make our opponent's life really miserable. Okay. They attack with Tarmogoyf. Hit us down to 12. We untap. Upkeep. Scry. Tower to the bottom. Power plant? Oh. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent sacks Nurturing Peatland to draw another card. Thought Seizes. Probably has to take Ugin at this point. Yep. Hits us for 5. We go to 7. Still pretty likely that my opponent has a Lightning Bolt. They sack Nurturing Peatland. They're desperately trying to draw cards here. Scry, we really need that power plant. O-Stone to the bottom. Draw another Ugin. Alright, well, unfortunately for us, Maze Mind Tome will not be keeping us alive this time, I think. I think we just died to a Lightning Bolt. Yep. Our opponent was playing like they had won the whole game, so I knew it was coming. Alright, so versus Death Shadow. I think I want Weather the Storm, Veil of Summer. We're going to go down in Ulamog. Walking Ballista doesn't really work against them very well. I think I'm only going to try 1 Weather the Storm. And I'm going to cut 1 Oblivion Stone. Oblivion Stone's not bad. I think we just have slightly better cards in the matchup. So we will play first this time. This hand is terrible versus hand hate, so I'm going to mulligan. Once again, this hand is horrible versus hand hate, so I'm going to mulligan. Alright, we'll keep this. We'll put back a Forest and Karn Liberated. Start Mine Sphere. Pass the turn. Opponent plays a Verdant Catacombs. Fetches, Shocks, Blood Crypt, and Inquisition, taking Chromatic Sphere. We untap. We draw an Ancient Stirrings. So, crack Sphere for green, we draw a map, Ancient Stirrings, we do not hit Tower. Do we take the 3rd land, or do we take a redundant threat? I think we take a redundant threat. Take another Karn, rest of the bottom. Play Power Plant, play map. Pass the turn. We could have taken Maze Mind Tome as something to play off of Tower, because we have to crack map main phase. Unless they have an Ancient Grudge. Unless we top deck Tower. Oh boy. Time to make our opponent a very sad opponent. So we wish for Trinisphere. Oh, that's fun. Pass the turn. So if my opponent has a land in hand, they can flashback Ancient Grudge. And if they don't, they're sad forever. Actually, they're still probably sad forever. Cleansing Wildfire on Urza's Tower. Okay, we get a Forest. Untap. We draw another Mine. Use sideboard here. Liquid Metal Coating is nice. We could play Grafdigger's Cage. That prevents them from Ancient Grudging the Trinisphere. Because Ancient Grudge is an instant, and they could just kill, Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna get a Grafdigger's Cage and play it for 3 mana. Then play an Urza's Mine. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays a Bloodstained Mire. Passes. We draw a Chromatic Star. I don't know if we play a new Karn. We're gonna uptick Karn for 1. Play Chromatic Star. Pass the turn. Opponent cracks Bloodstained Mire. Gets an Overgrown Tomb untapped. Corrupt Decay. Assassin's Trophy on the 3-ball. Okay, get a Forest. Lightning Bolts Karn. Alright, I'm glad I did not play the other Karn. Okay, opponent plays a Tarmogoyf. And a Death Shadow. We untap. We draw Oblivion Stone. Sack Star for green. Draw Big Karn. Play Little Karn, because it's kind of all we have at the moment. We're going to Wish. And we're going to get Bridge. Pass the turn. And they had a Lightning Bolt on top of all of that. Cleansing Wildfire on a power plant. Get a forest. We're a ways off of winning, that's for sure. Opponent Thought Seizes, takes Bridge. Alright, well sometimes your opponent is just going to have everything, and there's nothing you can do about it. We go to 7, untap. And we would have had it too. Yep. So, at the critical turn, my opponent had the best artifact removal spell, had Disruption for Tron, had second Disruption for Tron that they had to use on an artifact, had the Bolt for Karn, then when we played the new Karn, didn't even have to attack it to give us additional time. Then they had second Disruption for our non-redundant Tron piece, and Thoughtseize to take the one way we could protect ourselves out of our hand. Not that that would have mattered necessarily, because they did have so many artifact destruction spells, but man, that's a pretty good running. Alright. Round 4, here we go. Almost. Almost. This one's probably technically keepable. Yeah. Alright. We'll put back Ulamog. Start Power Plant Sphere. I think we do actually have to save this sphere for a minute, depending on what we draw. If we draw a second sphere, we can crack it, but I think the chance that we draw something like an Ancient Stirrings or a Sylvan Scrying that needs green mana is pretty high. Okay, opponent starts Flooded Strand, cracks Flooded Strand for an island, and casts Serum Visions. They could be Control, they could be Time Warps, they could be practically any blue deck. Okay. Draw a star, so we crack it, we get a mine. Play a mine. Play star. Crack star. Second Karn. Okay. Here's hoping our opponent plays like a Search for Iskanta. And doesn't have Force of Negation. Okay, opponent plays an island. So they got some kind of counter spell. Play tower. Get up Karn. Alright. I have a Force of Negation and evidently something else they want to use mana for. Unless that's their only counter spell that's that they could cast for less than 3 mana. Okay, opponent plays a Flooded Strand. We untap. We draw a Chromatic Star. We are going to play a Power Plant. We'll play around that Rune Snag. Alright. Island. This mono blue control, hard cast Force of Negation. Okay, play Chromatic Star. Crack for green. Draw a map. Ancient Stirrings. And we get a Karn Great Creator. Rest at the bottom, any order. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays a Scalding Tarn. We draw a Chromatic Sphere. Play Karn. Alright, no responses. So we're going to Wish. Kind of want to get a Sundering Titan. It's too bad we can't wish for anything with an on-cast trigger. I guess... yeah, we'll get Trinisphere this turn. This one is probably like the least impactful if it gets countered. I guess I technically should have played the Power Plant to play around like a Mana Leak. This is probably like a... oh, I was going to say a Mystic Sanctuary, but... okay, they Bolt Karn. I'm glad we did not get Liquid Metal Coating. Trinisphere resolves. Play Power Plant. Play Expedition Map. And pass the turn. Okay, opponent Archmage's Charm to draw 2 cards. Plays a land and passes. We untap, we draw Forest. Crack map. Get a tower. Play a tower. Play Chromatic Star, or Sphere. Crack Star for green. Or Sphere for green, draw Star. Play Star. Crack Star for green. We draw Ulamog. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent Archmage's Charm to draw 2 cards. Untaps. Plays a land. We untap. Draw forest. Play a forest. Play Ulamog. Exile Steam Vents and an island. Kind of anticipating a Cryptic. Okay, well they can Snapcaster Archmage's Charm to counter Ulamog, but they still lose 2 lands out of this exchange. Okay. Alright, pass the turn. Opponent plays an island, attacks us for 2. We go down to 18. Untap. Draw Sphere. Play Sphere. Crack it for green. Draw Sylvan Scrying. Play a forest. Sylvan Scrying. And we're going to get a Sanctum of Ugin. Pass the turn. We're kind of at the point where even if our opponent, like, bounces Urza's Mine or something like that, we still have enough mana to do stuff, I guess. Alright, Mystic Sanctuary, putting Archmage's Charm back on top. I have to say, Infinite Counterspells deck is not fun to play against. We untap. Draw Forest. Play Sanctum. Pass the turn. And now we have the knowledge that whatever we cast immediately gets countered by Archmage's Charm. Okay. Opponent plays a Steam Vents untapped, hits us for 2. We go to 14. We draw an Ulamog. Okay. Cast an Ulamog. Exile Steam Vents and Mystic Sanctuary. We will sack Sanctum. I should have actually stacked those triggers in the opposite order. Okay, opponent counters. Sanctum of Ugin fizzles. We exile 2 of their lands. Replay Sanctum. Pass the turn. So that's 2 of our biggest actual creatures now in the grave. 2 of our best spells to cast versus any form of control deck. Opponent draws 2 extra cards. Okay, they hit us down to 12. We untap. Draw an Expedition map. Play map. Crack map. Get an Urza's Mine. Play Urza's Mine. I could have gotten Blast Zone, but just putting Blast Zone on 2 to kill a Snapcaster would feel really terrible. Opponent pays 3 mana for an Opt, as they have finally run us out of cards. Mystic Sanctuary, putting Cryptic Command on top of the deck. Oh, Archmage's Charm, not Cryptic Command. I think Cryptic may have been a better pick there, but if my opponent has Remand, Archmage's Charm is better because then they have 2 counterspells technically. And we keep drawing lands. Not a very lucky league for us this time around. Kind of been on the draw the wrong half of the deck and queue up into the wrong half of the meta kind of league. Okay. Opponent opts. Draws with Archmage's Charm. Hits us for 2 down to 8. Draw Wormcoil. Play Wormcoil. It resolves. Pass the turn. When it cracks Flooded Strand, gets a Steam Vents, goes to 10. Big Spell. Shark Typhoon, X5. Okay. I'm going to call this deck Counter Shark. Because that's really what it is. Opponent attacks for 5. We take 5 and go to 3. And then we die to a Lightning Bolt because our opponent has untapped red mana and we're at 3 life. Hey, guess what? We're never not dead to Lightning Bolt. Alright. Well, we obviously want Veil of Summer. I guess we probably want Wilt because Damping Sphere is a real potential problem here. O-Stone I feel like is not great. Walking Ballista isn't either. And I'm going to go down probably Wormcoil. Thragtusk I think is slightly better in this matchup than Wormcoil. Also, I'm going to restart the client here really quickly. We're going to mulligan that. This might technically work, but I'm not thrilled about it. Going to 4. Alright. Okay. We'll keep 4. Putting back Sphere, Worm Coil, and Maze Mind Tome. It's the bare minimum for a Tron. Play Power Plant, play Map. Okay, and we're back. So pass turn. When it starts Scalding Tarn, draw Forest. Play Urza's Mine, crack and get Tower. Okay, put a crack Scalding Tarn, gets an island. We get a tower. Pass the turn. We basically have to assemble Tron and draw nothing but bombs for the rest of the game. Okay, play Karn. Got a good feeling if we wish. Alright, opponent has a remand. Pass the turn. So now our opponent has access to hard counter spell mana. And Blood Moon. Players is mine. Play Karn. We're going to go ahead and wish for, I guess, Liquid Metal Coating. Pass the turn. Has a Lightning Bolt for Karn, because nothing with 3 toughness or 3 loyalty is ever allowed to survive. We draw Sylvan Scrying, play a Forest. We'll go ahead and Scrying. Basically going to go get another Forest here, as that will let us hold up Blast Zone. Or not Blast Zone, that'll let us hold up Veil of Summer. I guess a little bit easier, potentially. But it runs out of Snapcaster. Targets Bolt, but can't cast it. Untaps. Attacks for 2. Got 18. We untap. We draw another Karn. Play a Forest. Play Karn. Karn resolves. Target their steam vents / mounted. It has taken my opponent 5 tapping attempts. Blow up the mountain. Pass the turn. I really don't know what my opponent was trying to do there. Attack Karn for 2, because I'm pretty sure that's their only option. We draw a Sphere. Shut off an island. Woo, we got there! Alright, we're just gonna run it back. I am really surprised we won that. But our opponent got mana screwed and then didn't have mana for all of their expensive counterspells after casting a Blood Moon. It's possible they had an Archmage's Charm and just couldn't cast it because they Blood Mooned themselves out of it. I'm going to keep this because it does let us wilt a Blood Moon. We get 1 redraw in the process. And drawing a tower is not all that unlikely. Start Power Plant, play Sphere, pass the turn. Opponent plays a mountain, passes. We draw a map, pass the turn. They stomp our face, sure. They play a Flooded Strand and crack it for an island. Then they cast a Blood Moon, sure. Pass to their end step. Crack Star for green. Wilt Blood Moon. Draw another star. Play Power Plant, play Map. Crack Map for Tower. And pass. Okay, opponent plays an island and passes. We draw an Ancient Stirrings. Play Tower. Play Chromatic Star. Crack for green. We're trying to draw a Veil of Summer. Can we draw a map? But we're still going to play like we got it. Play Karn, leaving up green mana. Maybe put the fear in them. Okay, they remand Karn. So we Ancient Stirrings. They mana leak Ancient Stirrings, okay? Pass the turn. Opponent is running out of cards in hand at the present moment. They play Flooded Strand, they crack it. They get a Mystic Sanctuary. Put Remand on top of their deck. Serum Visions to draw Remand. They're that desperate to keep us off of anything. We draw Karn, Great Creator. So first, play Map. Crack Map. Get a Tower. Play Tower. Play Karn. Okay, opponent Archmage's Charm. Play Karn. Wish. At this point, kind of want Sundering Titan. But we need something that's going to play around Remand a little bit better, so I'm going to get Liquid Metal Coating. Wish I had one more mana. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent plays a Bone Crusher Giant. Alright, we draw Thrag Tusk. Play Liquid Metal Coating. Opponent remands. Play Liquid Metal Coating. We're going to kill a Steam Vents here. Then we're going to play Ugin. And uptick to kill Bone Crusher. And our opponent concedes, leaving us with a 2-2 record against a deck that I did not think... Or we'll have a 2-1 record against the deck, a 2-2 record for the league. And I really, really thought we were going to lose that. Playing against that sort of deck is absolutely miserable. We had one in the last league we played where we just got absolutely demolished by our opponent having every single counterspell like on curve. Although I think that was against White-Red, not the other Tron list we were playing. But we got a victory, and that's all that matters. Going into round 5, let's see if we can win our entry back. Alright, we'll play first. Not a keepable hand, unfortunately. This one, on the other hand, is. I'm going to keep this. This is a turn 3 Karn with backup Karn. So start Power Plant, map. Pass the turn. Opponent starts Horizon Canopy, so this is almost certainly humans. Could be spirits. Humans has actually taken a sharp rise in popularity, though. Get an Urza's Tower. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent ticks up Aether Vial to 1. Plays a second Aether Vial. Oh, big oof. Play Karn. Game over. We are gonna wish. Yeah! No more Aether Vials for you, opponent. We'll bring in Wilt and Weather the Storm and Spatial Contortion. We're gonna go down Ulamog, 1 O-Stone. I don't like Walking Ballista here. I might cut Walking Ballista into a solely sideboard card, because I have not been enjoying it in the main deck. It's good, and can fireball your opponent to death, and can ping down so many X1s, and it's a super great card, don't get me wrong. I've just been having a bad experience with it, and have not been... I've been wishing it's a different card a lot of the time. I'm going to change it up and only run 1 Wilt, and it's possible I don't need Spatial Contortion, because we have board wipes and stuff, but I like some form of early interaction. I'm actually going to cut a Worm Coil. We're going to run it like this. Okay. Very close. Almost natural Tron here, but we're going to mulligan. Perfect. We just have to draw a bomb now. So we'll keep. Put back a forest. We can go and get Blast Zone, because our opponent does play a lot of 1-drops, and if they have a very 1-drop heavy hand, seeing that might be demoralizing. It's also good versus Aether Vial. Okay, opponent starts Cavern, naming human. Ah, I knew it was humans! See? Alright. I knew it was humans and not spirits. Okay, players is mine. We're gonna go with the Sphere Sylvan Scrying play, just because it gives us more redraws, and potentially we hit a bomb earlier. I'm gonna play as a Horizon Canopy. My opponent mulliganed. Multiple 1-drops. Alright. They hit us for 2. 3 with Exalted. Go to 17. We untap. Draw Urza's Tower. Play Power Plant. Sack for green. Sylvan Scrying. We'll go get Blast Zone. Pass the turn. Now we just need to draw Karn or an Ugin or... Okay, this looks like Mantis Rider. Yeah, this is definitely a Mantis Rider. Oh, it's a Blood Moon. Okay. That makes our decision to get Blast Zone slightly worse, but we're still going to have map for forest or, you know, an actual forest. So, play map, and I think I'm just going to Weather the Storm now to buy a little bit of time. We don't need to be tutoring out any lands at the moment, and it's unlikely that our opponent will ever cast more than 1 spell, so at this point of the game... They've Blood Mooned themselves off of all of their mana, and they don't have an Aether Vial. Okay. We draw Karn, Great Creator. So play Karn. Uptick to animate Expedition Map to block. Pass the turn. So Expedition Map hopefully will keep Karn alive, and then if we draw something that's playable, that's like 2 mana or less, we can actually wish for an Ensnaring Bridge and maybe start recovering. Karn goes to 4, we draw Forest. So I think this time we're going to wish for a Walking Ballista. Is that right? I could wish for a Worm Coil Engine. That would probably be pretty good from this position. Play Blast Zone. We're going to go for Ballista. Doesn't really matter what mana is left up because we can't play or do anything else. Pass the turn. We can go for the high-risk, high-reward play of blocking Champion and then shooting down Magus, which I guess is what we have to do. If they have another Magus, we're going to be sad, but... I guess if they had another Magus, they would probably play it. Okay, we've unlocked their mana. We've stopped them from hitting Karn. Kitesail Freebooter? It's either Kitesail Freebooter or General Kudrow. If it's Freebooter, it's really bad because we have nothing in hand, so it doesn't do anything. Yep, that's right. Nothing to take. So now my opponent gets a Meddling Mage. I guess they would name Ballista as well. Ugin the Spirit Dragon. Not a bad name. Yeah, I think we just make a really big Walking Ballista. Right? Because we wish with Karn. We can play Urza's Tower, play Walking Ballista on 4, and crack Blast Zone, killing all 1-drops. I could also just wish for O-Stone. And that probably does it. Oh, this entered with no charge counters on it, so we can't do the Blast Zone play, so let's get O-Stone. Play O-Stone. Play Tower. We will wait until their combat. It's not likely they play anything, but we could actually wait until the end step, because they don't play anything with Flash. And that would delay them an additional turn. It's not worth the damage. Okay. Blow up the world. Okay, put a charge counter on Blast Zone, because it has none right now. Opponent gets a Champion of the Parish. They cannot crack Horizon Canopy to draw. Okay, Mantis Rider. Pumping Champion. We draw any bomb and this is over. Maze Mind Tome is a redraw here. Sylvan Scrying again. Oop. I mean, other than a redundant Tron piece, this gets a Sanctum, which I guess makes the game more over. So play Forest. Sylvan Scrying. We'll get Sanctum. Pass the turn. Okay, opponent cracks Horizon Canopy to draw an extra card. Blaze a Cavern. And a Thalia. Yeah, Thalia does not threaten us at all here. So we're just going to kill the Champion. We have so much extra mana, it does not matter. Opponent hits us for 3. We untap, see what we draw. Ancient Stirrings. Yeah, go ahead and Ancient Stirrings. I guess Spatial Contortion is probably the best pick here. Rest of the bottom. We're going to draw an extra card first. Chromatic Sphere. Play the Sphere. Crack it for green. Draw another Power Plant. Play the Power Plant and Spatial Contortion the Mantis Rider to prevent the most damage next turn. Pass the turn. Maze Mind Tome doing a little bit of work here. Opponent attacks for 2, takes us to 9. We untap. We draw a star. Draw with Tome again. Play Star. Crack it for green. We draw a Worm Coil. Play Worm Coil. Play Sanctum. Play Sphere. Pass the turn. Now humans, with 2 cards in hand and a Thalia on board, is going to have a little bit of trouble dealing with a Worm Coil. And we get there. Finally going 3 and 2. Technically a victory. And let's see what's in our treasure chest. 15 play points and a Rurik Thar unbowed. Alright. Don't think Rurik Thar is worth anything. So, yeah, I still don't know what I want to put in the sideboard here instead of Kozilek. And the more I play with a Walking Ballista in the main deck, the more I feel like it doesn't do anything in the general case. It's really good if your opponent plays X1, so if they're playing Mana Dorks or if they're playing things like Infect creatures, it's really good. I'm not making the case that Walking Ballista is really ever a bad card. And I think leaving one in your sideboard, especially if you have Karn for a wish board, absolutely the correct choice. I'm kind of feeling down on having a Walking Ballista in the main deck. And I feel like it would be better... I'm not sure what it would be better as. We could test an All Is Dust. I don't want to play a 4th Worm Coil. I don't think I would play another Ugin. I've been happy with 3 Maze Mind Tome. 3 Maze Mind Tome, I usually draw it when I need it. 4 seems excessive. I don't want to be drawing multiples of Maze Mind Tome, usually, I don't think. A 3rd O-Stone kind of feels redundant. Walking Ballista might be better, I think, just as an All Is Dust. I think that's going to be the next major change I test out. And if we take Walking Ballista out of the main deck, we can play Jengatha as a companion, which I guess I could replace Kozilek with. So maybe that's what I'll do for the next playthrough of this. So we'll do an All Is Dust and take Kozilek out, and we'll play the Elk, I guess. Do I not have it? Oh, it's Gigantha, not Jengatha. Excuse me. So we'll try playing with a companion. It might do better against things like the Mono Moon deck. Mono Blue Blood Moon. But I'm going to try this as the next upgrade. So, alright. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. This was kind of a short league with Tron because of how quickly we got beaten a couple of times. But I still had some fun. And we still had some good plays. So, if you like this video, please leave a like, drop a comment, and subscribe to the channel if you're so inclined. And remember, you can follow me on Twitch, same username over there as you find me on here. I stream Wednesdays at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, usually for about 3.5, 4 hours. And yeah, I hope to see you there. I hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did, and see you guys next time. You're all wonderful human beings, and I really appreciate your support. Bye!